Good morning. It's time for Chapter 15, Terror at Bottle Creek, What Key? We're just going to start right ahead. Liza returned from Francie's room and I switched off the television. We'd both seen enough. There was nothing left to do but stay inside and hope for the best. How's she doing? I asked. She's fine. I told her she could sleep with me. You give her that little flashlight? She's got it next to her. Liza went to their bookshelf and pulled down a Monopoly game. You want to play? She asked me. I guess, I said. I sat across from her on the floor as she stacked the cards and arranged the money. I suddenly realized that I was going to be alone with her all night, and things weren't so bad anymore. I studied her face, thinking how pretty she was. I wondered what she really thought about me. She's so much better than me, I thought. She'll have boyfriends like Jason. She'll never have a boyfriend who lives on a houseboat. She finished sorting the money and looked up. You want to be the car again? Okay, I said. She got the car and put it on the board, and then she got the hat for herself. Do you think it's weird to live on a houseboat? I asked her. She looked at me. I think it's kind of cool. But what if you were older? Would you want to live on one? I don't know. Sometimes I wish I just had a regular house, I said. One day you can. She picked up the dice and rolled them on the board. I watched her face. You remember when we found those flying squirrels? I said. Liza smiled. I remember. You wanted to keep one for a pet, but we couldn't catch them. We tried all day. They were too big. Yeah, I said, I think you have to get them when they're babies. You found catfish, she said. You did, really. I saw him, but he liked you best. He likes you too. Liza moved the hat into the just visiting square. Visiting jail, she said. Boring. Your roll. Do you still want to leave? What? Leave here. One time you said you wanted to move away. That was a long time ago. But you never said you changed your mind. Liza studied the board, but I could see she wasn't thinking about Monopoly. And you don't come down to the river much anymore, I said. It's different now, she said. But your family's had this place for a long time. She looked at me. My family's not here anymore, at least not all of it. I felt the stab of her answer. I knew what she was saying without her really having to say it. But how would moving help? I saw she didn't want to answer me. She didn't have to. Suddenly, we heard a loud boom and a crash. The lights flickered and went out. Chapter 16. We sat in complete darkness, listening to the storm batter the house. I guess that's it, I said. Liza reached out and touched my arm. I can't see anything, she said. Mama, Francie yelled from the back bedroom. It's okay, Liza called to her. I'm coming. Turn on your flashlight. I stood. I've got another one on the counter, I said. Let me feel my way to it and I'll get the generator going. I found the flashlight and we went out to the garage and started the generator. I plugged up an extension cord and walked the end of it back inside. Liza was standing in the middle of the floor, holding Francie by the hand. See, she said to her, Court's getting the lights on. Where's Mama? Francie asked. She had to go check on Mrs. Delacroix. When's she coming back? We can call her if you want. I want to call her. Hold on, Francie, I said. I'll get the phone working in just a minute. On the kitchen counter, there was a power strip. I attached it and plugged in the freezer and 2 lamps. Then I plugged in the phone base and gave Liza the handset. You know the number? She asked. No, I said. Check the caller ID. Liza found the number, called it, got her mother on the line, and told her we were okay. Then she let Francie talk, and whatever their mother said calmed Francie. I got the propane lanterns, lit them, and took one to each of the back bedrooms. By the time I got to Liza's room, she was in bed with Francie, reading a storybook to her with a flashlight. I put a lantern on the bedside table. Francie eyed it and eased deeper under the covers. You like that? I said. She smiled and nodded. Like camping out. Thanks, Liza said. I'm going back to the garage to check on Catfish and look at the houseboat. He needs some food, Francie bossed. I smiled at her. Okay, I'll get him something. Catfish was staring anxiously into the storm when I found him. Mrs. Stovall had retied him to the tracks of the garage door, and he was straining at the end of the leash, nearly in the rain. In the distance I saw the houseboat lights glowing dull and yellow. What you see out there, boy? He whined and continued studying the darkness. I got his dog food out of one of the garbage bags and poured it into a bowl for him. Come on, I said. But he was more interested in whatever he saw beyond the garage lights. I set the food down and approached him. I knelt and scratched his neck and stared into the static of wind and rain. As my eyes adjusted, I saw the vague silhouette of a doe standing still as a statue. I'd never seen a deer that close to the house. She seemed stricken with confusion. I see it, I said. Excuse me. Catfish strained at the leash and trembled and whined. It suddenly occurred to me that the animals were being driven from the swamp. Deer, wild hogs, bears, everything. There was no telling what was out there. They were all fleeing for their lives. And that's the end of chapter 16.